total emancipation of his own people, including the Obas. You see, when the Obas allow the masses to be overwhelmed, Oba simply means you are a leader, you are a king, you have a privilege of ruling or presiding over a region or a particular people. When the people are no longer there, you are useless. You see, your presence is meant nothing, and your impact could not be felt. Without the people, the Obas are useless. So at this time, they should understand, if they allow the Fulanis to overrun their people, then they will be picked, handpicked, and slaughtered, taken to the butcher by the Fulanis. And their dynasty will become the dynasty of the Fulanis. Their empire, their kingdom, will be ceded to a total stranger, as I've earlier said. So, every hand should be on deck. The Obas and what have you should also rally around him. Unfortunately, most of them haven't been beneficiaries of this flash system. They are in the payroll of the federal government. They will want to jettison, they want to betray these movements. I foresee it. So Sunday Igboho should also understood that when he's saying that these are behind him, behind you does not suggest they are in support of you. They should, to some greater extent, show that they are truly in support of that movement, not just being behind. Somebody behind you might be drawing back and you don't know the time he takes off, and you will see yourself standing alone. So he should gain their support, and more importantly, the support of the masses, because this is the game of numbers. Once you have the support of the masses, of course, other ones will be overwhelmed in the course of time.
Is it really a game of numbers? I'm trying to reason that, because the leaders are making this a lot of numbers handicapped. Don't you think so?
Not really. It's a game of numbers. What I mean by numbers, people who has been downtrodden, people who have suffered some degrees of deprivation.
Do they have a say?
People, of course, they have a say when it comes to freedom, the fight, the agitation for freedom. Because it's the masses that gave the few privileged ones the opportunity to occupy such hierarchies, to be a political office holder. It is the masses. When the masses understood and come to the consciousness that the power belongs to them. These people, how many are they? Even when it comes to referendum, what are the numbers? How many heads do we have within the political elite, the governors, the Obas? How many heads are they? So it's the people that overwhelms, it's the people that decide. When the masses takes it all, forget about it, the masses will have it. The problem is that the masses have not stood out decisively to demand accountability. We are just waking up too late, when almost the fabrics of our coexistence, of our unity, has eroded totally. But that is not the worst. We can still have it back. We can still part our separate ways and continue our lives and determine our future, not leaving our future in the hands of few callous individuals who have jeopardized over time our collective interests at the expense of the masses. So it is the people, is the number, and the people, people call them common men. But look at history. Even in the American struggle, it's the people that rose and they find a way forward. Of recent, there was an allegation that over 7,200 pennies, manhood, was exported to China, and the China government confiscated it. You see, and it was alleged that the source of this was from Nigeria, and possibly from the police. It was linked to some police officers. These are the lives of my brothers and your brothers that have been wasted, who possibly may have been arrested illegally, and just place they were taken to undisclosed place, only for their organs to be harvested. This is happening in this current dispensation, and more other gruesome murders. People are being killed in different ways on daily basis. The herdsmen, even the security, the government instruments, the police and whatever. There are gruesome killing of innocent citizens, harmless citizens. How long shall we watch for our mothers and fathers to be killed, our young ones to be killed and their organs harvested and shipped to China for people that feed on that? This is a government that is eating her own people, a government that is so callous and very insensitive to the plights of the people. As you can see today, what is the hope and what is the way forward for Nigeria? The government at this time are very clueless. They have no direction. Of course, when you don't have vision, how do you have direction? When you have this vision, you can make projections. In the next 20 years, this is what we intend to achieve. Let's take it in a more small bit, maybe in a shorter term. In 5 years' time, we evaluate how far we have gone with this performance, with our vision. How many of this can you see within the so-called government, political elite? They only assume office the first time they assume office. They are only planning how to embezzle, how to buy, of course, skyscrapers in Dubai and other, Western world, with our hard-earned money, with money that was meant for I and you, for the development of their own people. You can see how wicked and very atrocious they are. And this has been so precarious, and we cannot continue in this mess. It's a total mess. Nigeria is not existing. So if any section is calling for self-determination, it is the right call in the right direction. And the situation at this time necessitates it. For us to move forward, take a look when Nigeria was running through federalism. You can see the level of development within the southwestern region, governed by the late Awolowo. You see, Obafemi Awolowo, who was a genius in economics. I was made to understand he never borrowed a dime, and yet they were able to revamp. He was able to revamp the economy of the western region, to the extent that he declared free education to the entire western region. You see, he built a stadium, the first international stadium. He built the first radio broadcasting station. You see, with just the cocoa, with just the resources within his own region. Most of these things have disappeared at this time. Go and take a look at them. Are they no longer existing? We have poor managers in Nigerian system, and of course we don't have leader at all. Don't go there. We don't have leader, and in as much as this system remains, we are heading for the worst. And in order to avert that worst, I am of the opinion, and that is my position, we either part our separate ways in peace or in pieces. And that remains the only solution, nothing more.
But then do you think Nigeria is ready for a war in separation? In this separation, we are expecting probably a war. Are we ready for that?
Nobody will tell you they are ready for the war. You can understand the first civil war between Nigeria and the Biafran nation was almost propelled by the same situation that remains unaddressed, unabated. The level of injustice that led to the war has been sustained in more greater dimension at this time. Nobody desires for war. But when it becomes inevitable to safeguard your life, to deliver your people, that remains the only option. War is in the state of desperation. When people have been marginalized, when people have been trodden upon, when they have been deprived over time, they have been calling for the government attention and they fail to heed to such crying. What remains for the people is to chart the way forward, is to declare the state of anarchy. Of course, in Nigeria, we are in the state of anarchy, where there is no law, where there is no rule of law, where people's rights are being trampled on a daily basis, where the right to live is no longer existed, have been totally abrogated by the Nigerian state and her instruments.
Okay, so but then all the leaders of the main lead men that are leading this agitation, like in talk of Oduduwa, we talk about Sunday Igboho, who has just risen recently. When we talk about the Biafra, we talk about Nnamdi Kanu. Do you think this is a fight for justice? Do you think they just want everything to be better? Or do you see this as a fight for power in any way?
Of course, let me start from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Over time, he has been walled by the Nigerian state, which he turned down. He has been promised so many things. If he was a selfish man, like most of the political elites from the southeastern region, who has betrayed the confidence reposed on them by their own people, you see, the likes of Ojo Kali and what have you, they would have given in and sold out their people. Just like the so-called Wazirike, who started well, but ended disgracefully. But thank God, at any time, God will raise a man to stand in his place. God said, I've never lacked a man to stand before me. When the need arises, God will raise a man, and that man is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is bridging the gap now. You can understand that he meant, of course, people understood their leader. They knew who their leader is. They knew who has their interests at heart. They knew who truly loved them. And they will give him every support. People are looking for true love, for true concern. When they find that in any man, they will rally around that person. Because it's people that empathize. Of course, according to Plato said, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. But this is what our political elite have refused to understand. Look at of recent during the, of course, the pandemic, the lockdown, the so-called national assemblies, your representatives, not my representatives, they are calling for hardship allowance. They have their all arrears paid, even doubled. They are still calling for hardship allowance, newspaper allowance, wardrobe allowance. Oh, they all enjoy all this. Why not a dime? I didn't receive a dime from the government. I hope so you didn't likewise. Most of the relief materials that was sent by international communities were hauled. They kept it in warehouses, which of course of recent people have to break through, and most of those facilities, I mean, has spoiled, has damaged. This is a kind of leaders we have.